let's go through the beginnings of BigQuery for raw data from Google Analytics 4. Here's my data. So in schema you can check the columns which you have. So we will go through it later. Details of table. The most important thing is table expiration. It should be never, so you never lose your data. And preview, when you can look through your data just to see how it looks. Interesting thing here is that the row is not this line. The row is all those things. So here you have a column row which tells you that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows in commas is the first row of data. We'll get through it. This is the second, third, etc. Okay, let's make a first query. Query is like you call a query when you ask a table to show you something. So let's make a query. Select star, meaning choose everything, star means everything here, from table. So the table is Suggestowo, analytics and this number, and the date. Suggestowo, analytics and the number, events, because it is an event table, and the date. Let's delete the limit. It is a good practice to check this thing. So it tells me that this query will process 360 kilobytes of data. It is really nothing, like normal queries take like 10 gigabytes of data or something like that. And you may ask, how much would you pay? So here you have a pricing, and for 1 terabyte of data queried, you will pay $5. However, first terabyte per month is for free. So don't worry, probably for a smaller blog post, blogs, etc., you won't pay anything. Okay, so I click run. And what happened? It showed me all the data. So to tell you the truth, it was the same as looking at the preview. That is why it is much better to go to preview to look at your data, as you are not paying for it, like you are not querying anything to look through it. Okay, so maybe let's look at what events do I have. So I can just click event name from table and run. Okay, as you can see, or maybe I will make it another, like a second time, I have 580 rows of data. And if I choose event name, it is the same number, 580. So do I have this number of different event names? Of course not. For example, page view is multiple times here. So page view, page view, page view. Okay. So I would like to get what data do I even collect. So let's have distinct event names. It is fairly simple. People says sometimes that if you know English, you already know SQL, because to get it, you just write distinct and make it in commas from, and that's it. So now you have, like, on in my data there are those 7 different event names. However, and this is the next thing I would like to stress, it is only for this date, 221, 3rd of March. So of course I can change it. Let's say make it 2nd of March. And the same thing, like events are the same. So let's make another thing. I would also like to know how many events of each type did I have. So to make it, you can do something like count star. Let's check it for the 3rd of March, as we already saw with this data. It should show us 580. Why? Because this is giving us a number of rows. It is counting the number of rows. Star here means that count everything. Okay, here I have F0 as I haven't named the column. To make it, you just put as number of rows or anything. And here you have it. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. I wanted to know how many events of each type I had on the 3rd of March. So I need to add event name. And will it work? No, as it tells me that a column event name is not aggregated or grouped by. I need to group by second, like second column. This is the first column, this is the second column, so that is why the second. And let's run. And it shows the numbers. This thing, those number of rows should sum up to 500. We can of course check it. Let's export the data to Google Sheets. It's just a couple of clicks. And here you have it, 580. So everything's worked. Okay. I would like to add 2 things. Group by. You can group by and put a number of column, or you can add the column name. So it doesn't matter if I put 2 or if I put event name. The results will be the same, as you can see. And second thing, grouping by. Grouping by can be understood as taking this column to be aggregated. However, you will get to it by making queries. You will understand how it works. Okay, next thing. What if I would like to make a query which is not on the 3rd of March or is not on a 2nd of March? Of course I can make it on the 2nd and the data is changed. But I would like to make a query which would be for those 2 days. I want to take into account 2nd and the 3rd of March. Of course it's doable. Let's make it. The best idea is to declare a variable. Let's declare variable A, date default 2021, 3rd of 1st of March. And I can also declare a variable B. Let's make it the 3rd. So it's a good practice to add comments. Comments are after this type of sign. So you just put here something like start date and date. Okay, how to change the data to have it? You need to change the data into the star sign, and after here you need to add something like that. So close it where table suffix between format date A and B, which will take the data from this date till this date. Let's run it. And that's how it looks. Of course, we can check if I haven't made any mistake. Let's check it. So I just commented those 3 rows. The better idea is to comment it this way, if you have many rows to comment. And let's select star from 2020. How was it? 2020 0303? No. 2021. Okay, let's get count star. It gives 580, and let's change it to the second one, count star. Okay, 580 plus 548 is 1128. 1148. It will give us not here, here. Okay, the second of merge, not the first. Here, 1128. So as you can see, it works. So this way, you are able to make the query based on your chosen data range. The next thing I would like to show you is to use with. It creates some, let's say, virtual table. Okay, let's start with all data as, and here let's put select star from, close the brackets, and it shows us the error as we don't have the select itself. We just created some table. So now we can use all data. So we can do something like select star from all data. And it works. One 1128 rows. Why is it a good idea to use with? It is a good idea because in additional queries, it is much more convenient to use something like all data compared to whole this query. So that is why. Okay, let's get to another interesting thing which I would like to stress, and which you are easily able to access through raw data. Let's check the users who made who started a video. Let's choose those users only. So first of all, let's select star from all data where event name. I could make equal, but I don't remember how is it, what is the name, so I do something like video, and here the percentage sign. This thing, and there weren't any video views, a pity. Unfortunately, there weren't any video views. Yep, there weren't. Okay, so let's make outbound links. So, outbound. Outbound. Misspelling. Okay, here I have all the outbound links between those days. I can change it to the 2nd of March, and here you see that the amount of data processed changes. So for example, if it's 28, it is 1.28, it is 1.5 megabytes, and if it's 1st of March, it is 1.1. Because the shorter the data range, the less data Google has to query. Okay, let's query it. And here I have all the users which made an outbound link. Here I would like to stress two things. First of all, you can check which users there were. You can do it by a column, which is, let's get to it, user pseudo ID. Oh, by the way, you can just click here to put it. You don't need to write it down. Let's choose user pseudo ID, and here I have all those cookies, like user cookies, which made an outbound link from the page. Of course, outbound link is non-standard implementation, but it's fairly simple. Okay, let's look that, for example, this user is the same. Why? It means that this user made this event, which were outbound link, 2 times. So I can choose distinct to only choose those users which made this interaction. Okay, done. And why is it interesting? Because now I can do something like, let's look if the users with, for example, outbound link on the 3rd of March were previously on the site. So let's check if any of those users were on the site between 28th and the, let's say, 2nd of March. How to get to it? First of all, it's a good practice to make it also a table. So let's call it, here I need to put this thing, comma, users who outbound link on 3rd of March as, and okay, just okay, select star from, okay, it works, great. So now I want to check all the users which were previously on the site. How to get to it? First of all, I need to get it from different data range. So it's a good practice to just copy the declared data and make CD. I was interested between the 2nd of the 28th of February and the 2nd of March. Okay, so here I have it, and I need to create second all data. So this is all data on 3rd of March. Let's make another one. All data, maybe let's copy it below to make it more visible. All data Feb March. I can call it as I want to. Okay, and here I just need to change it to C and D. As with C, it's now the 28th of February, and with D, it's the 2nd of March. So that's how it works. And let's check all the users which were on the site on those dates. So here I need to delete the comma, select star from all data Feb March. Okay, there's some error. What's wrong? Okay, here I need to put this thing. Okay, and now it's working. Okay, so I changed the name. Of course, I need to change the name in this query as well to make it know where it comes from. Okay, so data of Feb March, select star from. And here are my data, and I want to make the same thing as here, distinct user pseudo ID. So distinct user pseudo ID, and I have a list in here. Okay, now I want to check if those users, like any of them, were in those users. How to do it? Of course, you can do it manually. You can do it like so let's call it all users distinct Feb March as okay, and now select star from here. Okay, so I can do it like taking those users, there are 9 of them, save results to Google Sheets, open, and the same with those. Save results, Google Sheets. So I can just, as in Excel, compare if any of this user is in this list. However, it's not the most convenient, like BigQuery also has such possibilities, obviously. So to make it, let's use join. So I want to check if any of this user is in this table. So I need to use left join, where on the left I have this thing, and I am joining to this thing the second table. I am not sure if it will show any match, but we'll find out. Okay, so dot users, yep, left join, select select star from this on, yeah, how the column is named, this thing, and it will make an error. We will just cover it. Okay, there's an error. Unexpected. Okay. Yeah. Column name user pseudo ID is ambiguous. Why? Because in two tables which you are going to merge, you have the same column name, which makes Google don't know how to handle it. So what you need to do is just change the name of this column. So let's change it to S user pseudo ID v1, and now change this thing. And everything's correct in the query now. Let's run it. Okay, there are 2 users who were on the page between 28th and 2nd of March, and who also clicked, like made an outbound link on the 3rd of March. Of course, this is only the example. The case here is that for e-commerce, you would use it for checking if a person who made the purchase was on page in previous time, or how many time he were previously, etc. So this is just the idea. Okay, last thing I wanted to show you in this video is getting to the, let's say, hidden data, or it's not hidden, it's data which is like this data. Because as you can see, it's behaving a little bit differently. As for example, I want to check which user were on which page location. Page location is a URL of the visited page. So let's get to the let's start from the beginning. I can use this data. Let's put this in. Yep, select star from all data on the 3rd March. Yep. Great. And how to get to this data? To get to this data, you need to make a cross join. So let's just look how it works for now, and then we'll cover it in more details. What you need to do is cross join and nest event params. This is the event params as, for example, params. Let's run it. Maybe it's not the best idea to show it this way. One more time. Let's do something like, let's go back a little bit. Let's choose only this first row. To do it, I can, so with where, I can limit the data. So for example, where event timestamp equals this, and user pseudo ID equals this, not this, but this. Okay, what's wrong? Okay, great. Yeah, so as you can see on this timestamp and with this user pseudo ID, I get 3 events. Okay, I'm interested in, let's say, page view, and event name equals page view. Okay, great. I have one row of data. So now let's cross join this data. So Ctrl X from, and here cross join and nest params. As you can see, now I have 12 rows. What happened? When you go to the very end, in here, you will get key, value, string value, value, integer value, value, float value, value, double value. What is it? Let's get back and let's, for now, make it with like comment this line. Okay, we have 1 row. As you can see, here is key, here is string value, here is integer value, float value, double value, and this is something different. Like I'm like a couple of seconds ago, I unnested event params, and as you can see, this has event params, this has event params, event params, event params, event params, and this is event previous. So this is something different. So what cross join did, it expanded, let's say in commas, this one row into 12 rows. 112. Why 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what cross join did, it copied the let's say in commas, copied the data 12 times. However, on the very end, it added each thing only once. So let's do it one more time. Here let's remember for a second session ID, source, medium, and something else. Those are keys. Let's go here. Key, GA session ID, source, medium, entrances, session engage, page location, campaign, session number, page title, term, page referral, engagement session event, and that's it. So those are the same as those. So how to get to the data which I was interested in to check the page location? You just need to add in the where and key equals page location and hit run. This way I have one row, and in here I have a page location only, and it's obviously a string value. So let's get a little bit like in a holistic view. I want to check all the users and all their page location. How to get to it? First of all, I only need a user and a page location. So user pseudo ID and value, string value. Okay, let's run it and check if it works. It worked. Great. So why only one row? Because of course I have a lots of parameters in here which limits the data. So let's get rid of most of them. So let's add the hash sign and keep only key equals page location and run. Okay, so now I have 580 rows, because this is the number of rows which I had on the 3rd of March, and those are the users and their pages which they visited. Of course, I haven't added the event name equals page view, but in general those are the pages which they visited. But as we checked in here, let's make it this way. Yep. Select star from this, where as we should seen previously, in the same time step, a user could be on the very first page, obviously, like page location is the same, however the events are different. So this user made a session start, and it was his first visit, and he also made a page view on this page. So yeah. Okay, let's get back to that one. Of course, I could, let's say that I don't want the copies. So I don't want to have it that the same user could be many times with the same string value. To do it, the best way is to group by both columns. So Google will group by, meaning it will deduplicate. So let's group by 1 and 2. The first column and the second column. The number of rows will definitely decline. Now it's 140 and I don't have duplicates anymore. Of course, with which was a little previously, I can now check, for example, users who were on site, let's say this site, and I can check all the users who were on this site and who were previously on another site, etc. Like with raw data, it is only your imagination what you want to get from the data. Yeah, and this is the basics. I think we get through the most important basics. So selecting a date and declaring it, so you can choose different time ranges, using with and those, let's say, additional columns, using group by, using where, and using cross join. To tell you the truth, I think it was quite a lot for the first time. However, I partially agree that if you know English, then SQL is not that hard. Like you can learn it. Thank you very much for watching till the end, and see you soon.